Hi, I'm Amor Towles, author of A Gentleman in Moscow. A Gentleman in Moscow opens at a Bolshevik tribunal being held in the Kremlin in 1922, where a 30-year-old aristocrat is being interviewed. In the course of this brief interview, it becomes clear that the Count wrote a poem as a young man that was very popular with the revolutionary generation, so he has some fans in the upper ranks of the party, as it were. On the other hand, though, it also becomes clear that the Count is an unrepentant aristocrat. So as something of a compromise, the tribunal decides that the Count can go back to the hotel where he's been staying, and if he ever comes out of the hotel again, he will be shot. With a snap of a gavel, he's marched out of the Kremlin, across Red Square, and through the doors of the historic Metropole Hotel, and that's where he spends the next 32 years. And that's where I ask you to spend 32 years with him. Now, where did this odd idea come from? I began writing fiction as a kid. I wrote fiction in grade school, in high school, in college, and graduate school. But when I was 25 years old and I moved to New York City, I joined a friend of mine who had started an investment firm. And 20 years later, we were still working side by side. Now, ultimately, in my capacity as a spokesperson for the firm, I would spend a week in any given year in a hotel in Chicago, a week in a hotel in Los Angeles, a week in a hotel in London. But one year, as I was arriving at my hotel in Geneva for the 8th year in a row, as I walked into the hotel, I recognized some of the people lingering in the lobby from the year before. It was as if they had never left. And I thought to myself, this is a nice hotel, but can you imagine if you actually had to live in it? And as I was taking the elevator upstairs, I thought, that's actually a rather interesting idea for a book. A guy who gets trapped in a hotel for a long period of time. So in my hotel room, I took out the hotel stationery and I quickly began sketching out the outline for this story. Now, right off the bat, I knew that if I was going to take my protagonist and trap him in a hotel for 30 years, he shouldn't be there by preference. He should be there by force. And that's what made me think of Russia, if you'll see what I mean, a little intellectual leap there. And right away, as soon as I thought of Russia, I knew that I wanted him to be a prisoner in the Metropole Hotel.